We're back.
It's time. It's Happy New Year time.
Yep.
And
Happy 2013 to everyone.
Yeah. 10 days in, 10 days down, 355 to go.
Yeah. It's crazy that it's already 10 days in.
It's time. It's Happy New Year time. Hey, there's an echo in my ears. Anyhow, this is TAR 31, TAR Podcast 31, and it's January 10th, and welcome. Lots of things going on, even though it's, there's just lots of things going on. I mean, we've got to talk about our next event. It's been a long time coming.
Well, beginning of the year is always busy. But next Friday, we've got TAR 30 with Darren Appleton taking on Shane Van Boning. 10-ball, race of 25, 2 out of 3 sets. The winner is going to play Mike DeShane, and we're looking right now. I'm trying to. Shane's good if he wins. Darren I haven't been able to get a hold of because he was in China.
Yeah, he was. Then he had all kinds of issues
flying back.
Speaking of the issues in China, you saw that thing where he called the 8-ball.
Let me finish.
Oh, that's right. Only one thing at a time.
Yeah. What we're looking at is February 15th, 16th, 17th. So basically, a month from after TAR 30 would be DeShane versus the winner of this. And then hopefully at some point we can get either Dennis or Bustamante back to play the winner of that.
Yeah. Try to get the challenge going again. And we got disrupted. You know, there's been a lot of disruptive things going on with people canceling tournaments and everything else. So.
It was a rough couple of months. The last 4 months of the year were brutal because the guys were, after July, you know, I mean, guys were all over the place.
Yep.
They were, and then when they weren't all over the place, it was.
They were waiting for an event that never happened.
Yeah, it was tough.
It has been ugly. Anyhow, this is going to be a great match. Justin, you got a great spot. Is there any way you can show the spot now, or?
I don't have it loaded.
Okay, but it's.
Watch the Turning Stone.
Watch the Turning Stone thread, which, by the way, they started today. Yeah. Full field as usual, 128. It's a BCA points event, and I was under the impression that Matchroom is still going to be using the BCA points as a Moscone. That was the deal 3-4 months ago. So this is the first of the Moscone qualifiers, if you want to call it that. And it is a full field. There's several of the bonus ball players there, which is surprising to some, but it.
I
don't know how it all worked out either, but it's always a good event. I've never been there, but everybody speaks highly of it. But AZ is going to be running our TAR 30 spot.
I've already seen him run it. Cleary made it for us.
I was thinking Cleary made it, but I didn't want to say. I didn't want to use your name in vain, Cleary, until I had confirmation that you actually did something. So, but it looks good.
Yeah, it looks great. He does great work.
Yeah.
Our sponsors for TAR 30 are OBQs, who I'd like to thank them for
once again coming on board.
Yeah. And all our sponsors really have been with us for a while now. OBQs, Kamui, and Kurzweil Family Meats is back. So we'll be pushing those brats and all that other good stuff.
Don't forget little old CSI. We're still in there swinging. Well, you got to get self-promote a little bit. A little bit. But this could be a great event. And I like the contrasting style. Somebody said, oh, Shane will lead him alive. See, I'm not so sure because I like Darren's approach to the game. He shortens everything up. He doesn't have that. See, Shane's got a long stroke, and on tight tables and stuff like that,
well, this
will be new cloth.
New cloth, so it'll
make a
play a little easier. But, you know, whenever Shane plays a 10-ball match, to me, it comes down to one thing. If he gets loose,
gets his gear,
he wins.
Yep.
Because no one can beat that.
Yeah.
No one.
Yeah.
When he plays like he can play.
Yeah.
When he gets loose and the balls start going in on the break,
yeah.
He's the best in the world. That doesn't happen all the time.
Nope.
You know.
No.
And you know, Darren to me is a guy. You know, in MMA, you know, styles make fights.
Yeah.
And with this, you've got Darren, who's just. I mean, he's arguably the best pressure player in the world. Actually, I don't think arguably. I think it'd be hard to argue against it. Yeah, look at his international record. I mean, look at when he wins.
Yeah.
You know, he wins when the heat is on.
Well, just like that thing in China. They did run the hill match out and then, you know, the game, and then didn't call they said they didn't call the 8-ball, and it cost him the match and possibly the tournament.
Yeah, that's brutal.
But that was Chinese 8-ball, and everybody's saying, well, Shane will pocket better than Darren. those pockets on the Chinese 8-ball, they're tough. They're snooker pockets.
Yeah.
I think, my honest opinion is, I think I give Darren a tweak better shot making on a table than Shane. Shane, you're right. When he catches a gear, he just takes off. But I like Darren's compactness of his stroke. He doesn't have a big swing. He's like Alan Hopkins. He's a little more, he's not as many moving parts. So if Shane, I agree with you. If Shane catches his gear, everybody's in trouble. But if Shane doesn't catch a really good gear, he could be in trouble.
I think if Shane, I don't know.
That's what causes gambling.
I think, it's just a great matchup. I mean, to me, Darren is a guy who you got to beat him. He's not gonna, he's not gonna beat himself.
Well,
and he's going to play tough, and this format suits him
absolutely
much more
than the 100.
Than
he didn't
the race
like
to
that
100.
100. I was going to say that he likes it. He can't see the finish line.
Right. So I think it'll be interesting, and if I don't know. I mean, if Shane gets loose, and he's very capable of it, he's been playing great lately, then we could see some fireworks. If Shane doesn't get loose and it's a dogfight, then I think maybe the edge swings to Darren. Just the way he plays. He's
tenacious.
He's so focused. He's so mentally strong.
Yeah.
That he. I mean, it's going to be a great match. To me, right now, they're the two. I don't see how you could argue against them being the two top non-Filipino players.
I would agree. Well, I don't know who half the Chinese players are. There's so many of them, I can't tell them apart. But
But I mean, you take out
yeah.
And I'm not even going to pretend to know the Chinese players because they honestly don't play here that much. And they've got some amazing players.
Alex doesn't have to like it anymore. I don't think Dennis has to really like it. He didn't
like
it.
Yes, yeah. I'm a mark for Okuyo. I mean, I think he's a killer, man. I think he's the best in the world.
Well,
playing 10 ball for any kind of money or for pressure, I just think he's the best. I still think Shane has got a better gear than him.
Shane put on a great show at the U.S. Open one pocket. What was it, him and 7 Filipinos or something? I mean, how do you like your odds on that?
Yeah, well, that's in one pocket. I like Shane.
One pocket.
You just said one pocket.
No, I said U.S. Open. U.S. Open. No, U.S. Open 9-ball. I meant U.S. Open 9-ball is what I meant.
But I mean, he can when he plays good, man. Nobody can beat him. He's just that's how strong his high level. And then Shane gets a real bad rap in my opinion because it's just the break. You still got to run the balls out, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and his safety game is strong, and so I think we'll see. I think we'll see it all.
I think we're going to see a good match
over 2 or 3 days. The overwhelming consensus on our pay-per-view giveaway thread. Did we ever look through that at all on Facebook?
No, I haven't.
So far, there's like 150, 160 responses.
I did see this. I did see the original post, but I didn't. That was just.
There's like 150, 160 responses so far of people making their prediction, and from what I saw, it was probably 4-1 for Shane.
Really? So it's not that lopsided. But that's not what that is. It's not that type of pull.
And a lot of them, I haven't delved into it yet to see how far, if most people thought it would go 2 days or most people thought it would go 3.
And that's just hard to tell.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, it
depends. If it's a real close match, the guy could be, and we're not doing win by 2 or anything. It's still just
race to 25.
Because we had one match go hill.
Yeah.
Bustamante and somebody. Because it was Bustamante broke and he made the out of turn combination on the
Shane and Bustamante.
I think it was.
Yeah. But no, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to get back into doing matches.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I'm excited about with Mike playing the winner, and then before that happens, I'll be trying to line up the next one, as well as maybe do some more interesting stuff because we've got the players in town. They're here for bonus ball. They do have off weeks, so if we can put some things together, maybe we can do some. I'd like to do a partners game. Maybe we can do a straight pool thing. Maybe we can do.
Well, we have
some
a lot
one
of
pocket.
options as long as the player's here. And bonus ball is now scheduled to start on the 7th.
7th.
And I've talked to Larry Shaborek a couple times, and everything seems to be. I mean, he's getting a raw deal from the way the cities and it's all shook out, but it looks like they're getting there. But getting back to the Shane versus Appleton, keep in mind, those were the two guys that would have played the Hill match at the Moscone Cup. They bumped into each other somewhere else. There was something else. Maybe they played each other at the Moscone Cup, but they bumped into each other. Oh,
Who?
Challenge of Champions. That's where it was. Shane and Appleton.
Yeah. Well,
and Appleton won that.
Well, see,
so.
to me,
I mean,
Appleton
these guys are,
in these short races, these 11 and under, pressure, race to 5, all those kind of things, he's built for that, man.
Yeah.
He has done it purposefully his whole career.
Well, that's what
Yeah. I remember 3 years ago, Darren didn't want nothing to do with Shane.
Yeah.
I offered it to him.
Yeah.
He didn't. He just, he didn't say he was scared of him. He just said, no, I don't want to play him.
Yeah.
Now he's like, let's get it. Hell yeah, I'll play anybody.
Yeah.
So you can see he is really, he's.
Well, he has performed. He has proven himself on the world stage, which
Over
is
and
something
over
that
again.
Shane hasn't quite got there, and you don't know why. Does it
Shane's
mean-
gotten deep a lot. He's got a couple of seconds. He's just never won yet.
Yeah.
I don't know, but to
Who
me,
knows? There's a lot of factors.
to me, I'm a mark for Shane. Always have been. Always will be. He's a friend of mine, and I've seen him play better 10 ball than anyone else in the world.
Well, I think the best 10 ball we ever saw was Tar 1 against Corey. I
Yeah,
mean,
but I mean,
those guys are
I've
just
seen,
saying- they're
but
just shaking their
I've
head.
seen that happen 20 times.
Yeah, we'll see.
That same year.
Yeah.
He just goes unconscious, and it's
Yeah.
to me, it's it's the coolest thing in the pool to watch when he gets on that roll.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And he does that. The only other guy that's really been able to fire back at him when he does that I can remember is Alex.
Alex just hadn't been playing that much, but Bustamante held up pretty well.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Anyhow, it's Tar 31. Tar 30. That's close. Tar 30, and it's January 18th.
18th through the 20th. Starts next
yeah.
Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific.
All the pay-per-view information is on the Action Report.
Yeah, you'll be able to buy the pay-per-view probably starting Wednesday.
Okay.
Thursday morning maybe, depends. I always wait till the last minute to set that up, just for a lot of reasons, but the main reason being if anything changes, and I would have to, if I've been selling pay-per-view for the last 2 weeks and something happened,
You have to unwind them all.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You have
it's
to refund everybody, and they have to rebuy,
it's-
and it's no good.
Yeah.
So that's why we always put up the pay-per-view late, or just before the match. And the other thing too is it's like you put it up a day before. I never buy anything a pay-per-view live that I'm going to watch 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
I always
Yeah,
go to buy it when I want to watch it. We've been working on our video on demand site. That's
We're supposed to get a call tomorrow. We're
tomorrow,
lucky.
hopefully. I hope so. Got a great lead with a good company. It's looking good. And
We're working on it. That's all we can say. I don't want to. In all honesty, I'm not getting my hopes up because the best way to not get disappointed is not expect anything.
But
'Cause
it's farther than we've gotten with anyone else
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
So I'm optimistic.
So am I. And we know that they can do it. See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not like, I can build that. No, they've got them. It's
No,
really,
exactly.
It's pretty exciting.
It's just dollars and cents
Yeah.
now, what makes sense and what doesn't.
So
And
That's good.
If we get that going, and I think, well, we have to, bottom line, one
Yeah.
way or the other, is that'll be cool because then what we'll do is we'll have access basically to eventually, ideally, would be our entire catalog of matches. Initially, it would probably be, I would assume, 10 or 12, and then we add a couple a month until
Yeah,
we get
that's-
everything caught up.
we'll play that.
But
Okay. I just want to say one more time this weekend, Turning Stone is on the AZ. AccuStats putting it on.
They've got live
AccuStats
scoring.
live scoring, live brackets. It's posted on AZ Billiards. It's a Ustream. Support them. They're supporting us. We try to work back and forth, and like I say, it's 128 players. You got everybody from Johnny Archer to somebody almost as bad as me. So the whole gamut is there. You got anything you want to address there? Because we can go right into we can talk about, we got the Jay Swanson Memorial
Go
coming
ahead
up.
and start on your promotion list.
My promotion list. Well, I just posted some stuff on the thread, and I wanted to touch on this Jay Swanson Memorial. It's the 17th year. It's at Hard Times. It's February 23rd and 24th. Just go to our site and you get the information.
And if you're not playing, don't go.
192 player field, 2 days, 25 tables. It is a nightmare, but it's.
If you're not playing, stay home.
It will be streamed. Daniel Bush, POV, is going to stream it, and that's good. Then we have the U.S. Bar Table Championship, which starts the next day. There's the people that get deep on Swanee will make arrangements for the bar table. This is the 20th bar table. It's going to be interesting because we're going to have all the bonus ball players in town, but since we don't know their schedules, but they could come up and play in one event and come back and play their match, or the bar table is a $25,000 added event. 10 ball.
Over 3 events.
Yeah, 10 ball, 9 ball, 8 ball.
What's first place usually pay? 5,000 to 8,000?
About $6,000. $125 entry fee, plus the $25 green fees. We're going to green fees. There's women's events, there's men's events, and there's second chance. And Tar's there, and the food's great. The facility's awesome. You know, it's really a great.
Well,
it's perfect.
I tell you what, I think guys like Shane, you know, they'll be clubbing some baby seals at some of these tournaments if you know, if the bonus ball guys are all tied up.
The bonus ball guys, a lot of them showed up at Turning Stone.
Yeah, but they're not playing now.
Correct. But it was interesting that they got in. The timing of the dynamics, because even Brandon Schuff put that post on AZ.
Did Brandon get in?
I don't think Brandon got in.
You sure? I thought I saw a photo of him out there.
I saw a picture of him. He's there, but I don't remember. I could look it up real quick, and just it doesn't make any difference. But I hope he does. But it was really an awkward situation. Then obviously we have our 37th annual national tournament coming up at the Rio in July. That's so far off. But we have 3 pro events.
Tar will be streaming from Reno.
Yep.
We'll be doing the whole thing, the 8-ball, 9-ball, 10-ball.
And Andy's going to help you, yes?
Yep, Andy's coming. Andy will be here
Andy
for
Chan,
32. Yep. Yeah. Reunited.
Oh, man.
My boy.
Time to leave. Karaoke in the Tar studio.
That's right. Andy's a pro, man. He's doing
getting really good.
He's doing some real deal shit now.
Yeah, no, you see some of his Facebook stuff. And,
it's
you know,
cool
they
to
had
see
him as the site manager guy or whatever for film on the movie 9-ball the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he got the credits.
Oh, yeah, I know he did something.
At Hard Times.
He did some reshoots for him. Yeah.
And there hasn't been a lot of buzz. I did buy 9-ball the movie because I like to support all of them. And well, I'm sorry, but you know, I will support everyone that comes down the road. But that one's pretty rough.
What's that?
9-ball the movie.
Haven't seen it.
It was pretty weak. And I hate it. I hate it. But I mean, it's not like it's a shock. You know, but
it's got my girl Jennifer Beretta in it. It can't be that bad.
And I tell you, I admire what Jennifer's doing. She's not afraid to fail, and not afraid to try things. And I'm not saying that she failed. It was just the whole script and everything. But I really enjoyed the things she's doing on the Sharks, that Jim Murnak's thing.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, you haven't seen any of the Sharks things? You really should.
I saw one of the.
Yeah. Well, that's an evolving story. Now Jim has gotten sidetracked a little bit on this Pool America's Game thing, the concept, and it's too early to tell on that. I think it's a great concept. It's the perception thing. It's hard to get people to buy things. There's a great thread on AZ Billiards that says it's not about them or the game. It's about me. People buy things because it's about me. It's what they want.
I think the whole idea of the players deserve. Any sentence that start with the players deserve, it's probably not going to go anywhere good when you start talking to fans, general public.
I don't remember saying that, but
no. In one of his threads, he said the players, players deserve to get paid. Imagine what pool would be like if players were making $200,000 instead of X, Y, Z.
Sure.
Now, here's my thing. It was almost the way I read it was kind of the justification for charging or what it was all about, the reasoning behind it, and that's fine. If that's your opinion, and maybe you're right. I just don't think, especially in this country, especially with pool fans, putting that line of reasoning out there is going to fly.
Well, what I like about it is he's basically saying, all right, here's Team A versus Team B. You want to watch them? It's $10, $9.95. But they're trying to set up a series of events. So they get paid, the players get paid based upon how many people buy it, which means now the players got some skin in the game.
Sure.
I like that way better than I want a $20,000 added tournament to show up.
I like that a lot too.
Yeah, and it makes
what
sense.
I don't like is he's giving all the money to players.
Giving 90% of it. Yeah.
And the reason I don't like that is
the
because
model won't work.
Because when he gets tired of doing it,
The model won't work.
it fails. It's over. It ends.
That's the problem with some leagues and so everything's. And the players don't see it from that. They say, well, you're not supposed to make any money. You're just a pool promoter. We're the ones that are the stars. And I keep telling everybody, I do professional events because I like them. I sure as hell ain't because I make any money on them. They cost us money. Yeah. But it's part of the experience of our tournaments. So that's all. But I wish them all, I wish Barnick a lot of luck. I wish Bonus Ball a lot of luck. And there's only a couple people in this whole world I don't wish luck, and I'm not even going to talk about them. So.
Yeah, they've got a great community there in New York. And, Jim's doing a good job. I mean, the quality of his work is really
high.
Really good. His photography and videography is good. It's
an experiment, and that's great.
And what a lot of people may not know, I mean, I've never met Jim. I've talked to him on the forums, and I'd like to meet him because, I mean,
his dad was a very good pool player too.
Well,
he's been around pool for like 60 years.
Can I finish now?
Yeah, you sure can. Just do it, will you?
He's an amazing case maker and leather worker, and his cases are phenomenal. But what a lot of people don't know is he's a holster maker first, and with a fantastic reputation in that business, and fist holsters. But so I mean, he's the kind of guy that strikes me as whenever he puts his mind to doing something,
it's top notch.
He puts a lot of effort into it and tries to get a lot of quality out of it. So I wish him luck. I can't say I agree with his model so much. I understand it, but it doesn't seem to make long-term sense to me. But whatever he decides to do, I wish him the best of luck. And the Sharks thing makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's pretty cool. From what I watched, because I like things that take any kind of another tack.
Yeah, this one does.
Well, I mean,
he's got 16 or 20 of them now. They're like 5 to 15
but I mean,
minutes.
it's pool as a backdrop for a story, which is pretty cool. So.
I think what he's doing is really, really cool. And I thought it was important that his dad was quite a good pool, not great, but a shortstop or almost speed in New York area. So, and Jim's right around 62, 63 years old or something. I've talked to him a couple of times on the phone. I enjoy the conversation. I wish I could help him more. I was a sponsor. I don't know if I still am or not, because it probably expired. But I was sponsoring the Sharks thing just because I believe in what he's doing, and I'm still going to shove something in his way because I want to encourage him to keep going, and it's a tough go. But that's what it is.
What else you got on there?
Derby City's right around the corner. They've got the $50,000 10 ball this year, 32 player, 18,000 added on 10 footers. One thing I didn't mention, going back to our nationals, we're going to have in July, we're going to have the junior nationals in with our BCA Pool League thing, and that's to me is the greatest thing. I love being able to do something for the kids, and they're going to have 16 tables. It's going to be streamed.
It's going to be after the pros, right?
They'll be starting the second to last day of the U.S. Open 8 ball, because we're down to like 6 or 8 players, and then all the juniors come. So they start Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they finish Monday. We're all gone by Sunday night, but except the pool tables and everything. But it's going to be a really good experience because it'll let the pros and the juniors mingle at the same place with 7,000 amateurs. So this is really cool. So
that'd be a good experience.
It is, and then we have the world's trick shot, so that's enough about that thing. But the kids thing is pretty exciting to me, and I think Sam's doing a pretty good job. Sam Diep took over the leadership of the BEF,
that's good.
And we're working closely with them. So this is really neat. There's a lot of good things happening. Just to throw it out there, I have no idea what's going on with the U.S. Open payouts, and in so many ways, I just don't care. Except it's such a black eye on pool. I really think, from what I've heard, that Barry's making every effort to pay them, It just never got to this situation to start with. It's just I don't even want to talk about it.
Then why'd you bring it up?
Because I think it's a topic that needs to be touched on, and I'm.
So you wanted to bring it up to say you didn't want to talk about it?
I'm done touching it. You can touch it now.
I just called to tell you I don't have time to talk. Bye.
Okay.
Derby, I'm not going this year again.
They were asking if we're going to be there. Yeah.
No.
There's no value for us. You can't. It's just throwing straight money. You can't. There's no income stream. There's nothing we can do. Yeah.
What else?
In conjunction with the Reno tournament, there's the World PPA. They're a handicap system out of the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. It's kind of the remnants, but not really, of the old US PPA. And they have about 1,500 players. They're limited to 128 players. It's 9-foot pool, handicapped. Anybody can play. But that's in conjunction with our bar tables. That's something for everybody. Just. There's so many little things going on in pool.
I had a pretty good thread the other day on Facebook about the trick shot thing.
Yeah.
And
interesting thread. You went to a movie and it blew up.
No, I mean, it's so stupid. I mean, it's not even got anything to do with now. It's not trick shots. It's not even pool. They could be doing that shit on a dining room table and it would be the same. I'll
tell you what, it's better now than it was 2 or 3 years ago because they were using swinging triangles and all that other crap. I posted in that thread a couple times, and believe it or not, a couple of the better trick shot players pretty much agreed. I don't like 3, 4, 5 cue stick thing. That's crazy.
No.
I'm of that one.
Here's the thing. As soon as they try to make it into a contest, into a sport, and they put all these shots in a book, and you got to know all these shots, and then it's you do this, and then I do this. That's, to me, as a pool fan, as a diehard pool fan, which obviously this stuff is not made for. So my opinion probably doesn't mean shit anyway, because I'm not the audience. But it's just dumb. It's like golf trick shots, or long drive contests. It's not.
Well, some people like it.
So to me, but it takes away from what is great about trick shots, which is the entertainment aspect of a trick shot show. You watch Mike Massey do a show, it's not just him up there executing goofy ass shots.
Yeah, right-handed, left-handed. Yeah, I understand.
He's entertaining.
Well, he's telling you a story.
Yeah.
And what I like about trick shots done properly, you can learn something that's applicable to a pool game.
Yeah.
By throw shots, kiss shots, draw shots, those things that
And to me, that's.
I agree with
I would prefer to see guys come up, and you each get 5 minutes, or 10 minutes, or whatever the hell you want to set it up as. There's no books. There's no set shots. There's no nothing, and if then you get into judging, and that brings in a whole nother thing. But at the same time, I don't care if you do it by audience applause. But what that does is now, instead of guys going out focusing on, I've got to learn how to hold 6 freaking cues in my hand, now they go out and they focus on, okay, I've got to be more entertaining. I've got to come up with original stuff. I've got to, and then what happens? Instead of a bunch of guys out there doing this shit with a fistful of cues, now you've got this many more guys working hard on their entertainment, not the technical aspect.
Okay. Well, I'm going to agree and disagree. I think you do need them in a book because if I set up a shot, you have to keep score somehow.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Well, you have to.
What you don't.
You can't go by applause.
Then you have judges.
Because that means
fights have judges. MMA, boxing has judges.
Yeah.
Everything has judges. You can do judges.
Yeah.
But to me, like I said, in my opinion, it doesn't mean anything because I'm not the audience.
True. Neither one of us are. The audience is people that really don't play pool.
Right. So, but even then, to me, I could see it selling more. But you know what? It's a hell of a lot harder to be an entertainer than it is to learn how to hold 5 cues.
Yeah, probably.
It's a lot harder.
Maybe.
It's a lot harder.
Well, I mean, but you have to be an entertainer in pool.
Well, you have to be able to. You have to be able to talk.
Yeah. Well.
And frankly, most of the trick shot guys I've seen are terrible entertainers. Yeah. They've got some skills and they've got original thoughts, but when it comes down to actually getting out and entertaining someone, At least to me, it's like, oh, God, shit.
I'm going to agree, but I still disagree. But it's interesting, the concept of having a judge do the scoring, as long as they know about the shot ahead of time so they can assign a difficulty factor, because you have to have some method. So I think you're just going too far. But conceptually, I agree with you. And we agreed on that thread, and as so did some of the better players. They don't want all these 3, 4, 5. They just somehow got into it. But it's terrible. And it's also, what happens if a guy doesn't have a working left hand? You're saying, well, you just lose that one because you can't do this. Yeah. It's almost getting into a situation like that. So I don't know. But it was an interesting thread, and but as a interesting factor, trick shots always scored much, much higher on the Nielsen rating, or where they call that thing, as far as number of TVs watching it, than any other event, to the tune of 2 and 3 times higher. And that tells something. It tells you that the average person that watches this enjoys it more than watching a pool game.
That's because the format lends itself to the television format in which it's being shown.
It's designed for TV.
Yeah.
Whereas pool competitions...
If you don't know, if I set you down in front of 2 people playing a game, you call it darts. Something you might have a little bit of familiarity with, darts or foosball. You're Joe Schmo and you're flipping through the channels and you see this game and you've played it before, but you don't know anything about it. You don't know anything about the players. Yeah. And you have no context of who the players are, what's going on.
Yep. Okay.
Of course you're not going to give it very long. No. And pool's the same way. And the other thing is, one of the things that killed pool on ESPN, in my opinion, that absolutely murdered it, and it hurt so bad that the WPBA actually did something about it. And that was when you had Allison Fisher and Karen Core on television every year for 7 out of the 9 or 10 matches. It was just, because when people are turning it on, it's like, oh, her again. Yeah. Oh, her again. Oh,
well, and that I have mixed feelings on that too. But I will say that
and I'm not,
the way that pool is filmed for ESPN and announced is brutal.
It's terrible.
And they've gotten stuck in this mode of just, well, I can do it better than that guy, but they don't bring any better thoughts. They just might make a little bit slicker transition or this. I love pool.
Well, I
can hardly watch it.
Well, that's because, pool does not mean, pool is a long format game. To do pool right on television, it has to be filmed like golf. Not like, no sport, and that's the hook that pool's always been in on television, is they don't have enough money to shoot it like a real sport, so they have to cut it for television, and then it loses all integrity. You have no continuity. They don't show, okay, this week's the quarterfinals, the next week's the semifinals, and then the week after that's the finals.
I'm not going to, but the only...
So you just brought it up to not talk about it?
No, you can't really compare it with golf, because it's just such a different beast. Golf is, if I go play a round of golf, or the average, it's a 4-hour adventure.
Sure.
A pool game or a pool match can't last 4 hours. It just doesn't work that way.
No, but it's filmed live.
Correct, but another one that falls somewhat in this category is bowling, because it's a similar game a little bit. It's one-on-one. It's a different game because there's no defense in bowling. Bowling and golf are more similar in that respect. But bowling struggles too. But the reason I say it too is, it turns out that South Coast up here does like 4 or 5 live bowling shows a year. So we'll traipse over there and see how they do it. But they're struggling. The pool is just an interesting, it's more of a play game than a watch game.
Well, I mean, I'm a firm believer that pool is just boring as shit to watch. Yeah. If you don't know the game.
Or if you're not gambling.
If you don't know the game, if you don't know the players, if you're not interested in it technically, it's just boring to watch.
Well.
And that's not just my opinion. I talk to everybody.
Sure, but I tell you.
Because, people ask me what I do all the time, and I tell them, and I'll ask them. And, people it would never even cross their mind to sit and watch a pool game. I mean, it would be like me asking, would you like to sit down and watch a car rust?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something they would even consider.
Different strokes for different folks. Chess gets some people, and that's a hard game to watch.
Yeah, but you can point to anything.
Yeah, but what is interesting, because similarities, darts. To me, darts has got to be, but they make it exciting. It's a little faster moving.
Yeah, and they've also got a giant industry betting on it.
that's the other factor I was coming into. We've talked about this before. The fact that you could gamble increases your awareness.
Sure, absolutely.
And that's, until pool gets gaming involved,
Which they never will.
well, they had their chance, and we can touch on it for a tweak, because there's been a lot of buzz on that Challenge of Champions
and that's
thing.
why.
And
That screwed pool for at least 50 years.
I'm a firm believer it did also. And some of these people, oh, John Barton, I really appreciate John Barton's comments. He says it didn't have any effect. I think it had a huge effect.
Disagree 100%.
You disagree with Barton?
With Barton.
Yeah. I think it had a monster effect, because it's like, you know, why did cars start out with wheels instead of sleds? Because they started, so everybody does the same thing. It set the cast. It cast the mold, and this industry got a huge black eye from the people that could make a difference.
Oh, well, that's, I mean, it's not just that, but the whole short money attitude of pros.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's,
in the past,
yeah.
has absolutely ran off more multimillionaires than I can count on both hands.
Yeah.
I know guys that could do anything they wanted, and I know you do too.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
they
tough.
they got the wherewithal if they
They
wanted.
can make things happen.
Yep, but you know what? They don't believe in it because
Well,
they've been burned in the past.
if something does happen, you will find that a lot of the people that are playing in this industry now, they won't be involved,
Yeah.
and rightfully so. It's time for a generation change.
Well, that's
But-
one good thing is that the newer generation of guys that I'm seeing, I'm not seeing as many of the negative traits. And I'll name names. You know, you got Oscar, Shane, Mike DeShane, you know,
Brandon Schuff. Jesse
you know,
Ingalls is still,
Jesse. You've got, you know,
Landon Chaffette.
Landon,
You know,
and
just-
you know, you've got the next generation coming now, and you know, I think these guys they've learned. They're smart. They're not
well,
dumb.
they can watch.
You know, they see what's happened, and they see, you know, so it's. If anything, I would be, you know, they got a shot. They got the right attitude, in my opinion.
Well, I think there's going to be
Much more so than some of the older players.
I think there's going to be some things coming up. Let's first of all see what bonus ball does. If it's successful, it could have a huge impact on the industry.
Yeah.
I wish them luck. I just think they got a tough way to go. But and then you got now this year, the BCA points, which I consider the factor. There's 7 events this year. You know, Diamond got the Derby City 9-ball and the Tunica 9-ball approved as BCA points. They went to a race to 9. Badi is bringing back the Ultimate 10-ball directly in front of the Tunica event. We're increasing ours. We have the U.S. Open 10-ball, and we are introducing the U.S. Open 8-ball. So, and then you have the 2 Turning Stone. There's 7 events. You'll notice that Hopkins' event is not on it, and you'll notice that the U.S. Open is not. If those had come on board...
Is it true that Hopkins' event is 7,000 added?
I hear it's 8,000 added. We can discuss that in 2 seconds. If those 2 events had...
Do you like being
happened,
interrupted like that?
No, but that's okay. the audience loves it. I can see them in the camera laughing.
Go ahead.
If those 2 events, the 9-ball, U.S. Open 9-ball, and Hopkins event had been on board like they normally were, it would have been 9 points events this year. That's like a lot. Anyhow, the Hopkins event is an ABP event, Association of Billiard Professionals. And
Can I ask you a question?
You can ask anything you want.
How much money was added at Hopkins last year?
$25,000.
And it was a BCA points event.
Yes. Now,
how much money? Let me finish my question.
I want to lead up how it got there.
Okay.
Back about 4 or 5 years ago, it was 20,000 added for about 3 or 4 years, and they kept saying we want to make it a points event, and the board of the BCA, which is Jerry Forsyth, I think, said you have to add 25,000. Well, give them a waiver for 20,000. No. So Hopkins anteed up, made it a $25,000 event, and for the last 2 or 3 years, that's what it's been, and it has been a BCA points event. This year, through the wisdom of the ABP, who's supposed to be for the players,
Right. I love this part.
this is absolutely crazy. Their requirement is 7,000 or 7,500 to be an ABP points event. So Hopkins says, well, hell yes. Now I can say I'm supporting the players, which Alan always loves to support the players. But he only has to add $8,000
Instead of 20.
instead of 25. So the players...
They're out 17,000 added
Yeah.
money.
Now I understand he's going to have a women's event too, which is going to be interesting because I don't know what their deal is
That's
with...
funny.
Well, I just think it's... And since we're talking about it, I wasn't going to bring this up, so it's your fault we're bashing, but we're not bashing, we're talking. the ABP had the audacity to put on their Facebook that the ABP professionals are going to the first ABP points event of the year,
Yeah.
Turning Stone. It's not an ABP points event. It is a BCA points event and has nothing whatsoever in
do
any
with-
fashion.
yeah.
It's these, and this is what you were talking about. The
It would be-
ethics of the modern player. They're trying to hijack other people's events. And I'm telling you what, it's horseshit.
It would be like
I
me
would-
going to a San Diego Chargers game and be like, we're going to the first TAR NFL points event.
Yeah, right.
You know?
And why wait? What do those points get you?
Come out and watch TAR football.
I just can't believe that people go for it and that people comprehend. I just hope that Charlie Williams and the boys, and you know, Johnny Archer's name is right in the top of that list, and I can't believe he's letting himself get tainted like this. But it's going to catch him.
It's just funny
It's-
to me,
it's
man.
just gonna catch
It's
you.
like
Sorry.
last year we had 25,000 added.
Now they're at 8,000.
It's like, come on, ABP brothers. Only
now
cost you 17,000.
What we don't know is
Stick with me. Look where we'll go.
what we don't know is how much the cost is going to be to play in. But what it could be interesting is, Allen depends upon the gate to make this whole thing function.
Sure.
And now, if he doesn't get all the top players because there's not enough money to win, he may not get a gate, and it might be an
No, I don't
interesting
think
situation.
Allen will ever have to sweat that. I mean, well, what Allen's got to sweat is that venue. He could. I'm willing to bet he could give a shit about a pro tournament right now. After the event they had last year with the fiasco with that venue,
Oh, it was
and I wasn't there. I'm just going
I
off of what
was.
was told.
concrete
but
floors. It was brutal.
The new one looks promising. It looks like a nicer place.
It is a much nicer place, I understand. But
so-
you still have no hotels. I mean, you have to leave. Nothing is,
like it
you know,
was.
well, yeah, like the old one did have the
Well,
hotel.
that's one of the downfalls of that East Coast shit, man. I mean,
Convention centers are no good.
Nothing is easy on the East Coast. It's true. Nothing is easy on the East Coast.
Really.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
Absolutely brutal.
So I don't know. It's going to be, you know, a lot of these things are going to be shaking out. And I don't mean to say this is there's very few people I'm just wish ill on, but this whole thing, and it just doesn't make sense. Why are they doing what they're doing? And with no, I mean, you don't even have anybody to complain to. There's no phone number to call. You can put a posting on their Facebook. I disagree with you. There's no response. There's no interaction. And these are the professionals of the industry. And it's just like you said, these guys got to go.
Well, the only thing, well,
No.
and what I really think is a lot of times, I mean, what worries me is it's very possible there's only 500 or 600 people who give us shit,
Well,
who even care. It would surprise me
I'm-
if 500 people
really.
knew what the ABP was.
Well, they have 2,200 likes, but as far as very few people really understand the dynamics of here. But this constant backstabbing, hijacking, it destroys the industry. And it's a prophecy. You might have 1,000, but if they keep this crap up, you're going to have 500 next year or the year after. It's causing the professional market to shrink until it gets down in the dumps so far that the new generation can overcome the obstacles of the old generation.
Yeah.
And I think we're in the process of that happening, you know. And I know where I stand on it all. So, and it's you know, the only reason we do this crap is because we love the game so much.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I could have just shot my head off and you know, rather than go do professional events. It's just like, oh boy.
Well, it's a lot, certain people make it a lot harder than it needs to be.
Well, those people are going to have to learn that they don't need to be here then.
Well, it's the way I look at it is it's you know, eventually, you know, everybody tries to work together or makes lip service to that fact, but at the end of the day, you know, you just gonna have to say, look, you go do your fucking thing, we're gonna do our thing,
Yeah.
and
we'll see who works.
Yeah.
You know, it's not unlike anything else. We've talked about the electricity between Tesla and Ben
Yeah.
Franklin's company. It's just the way it was. You know, it's just, hey, one guy wins and one guy loses. I wish it wasn't that way, but because sometimes you get unethical behaviors and this and that. But you know, it's a game. We're all supposed to support the game, and it's unfortunate, but it doesn't work that way.
no, it's
And it's ruining the game, or it's handicapping the game I think there's some bright times ahead. I love the fact that there's now 7 events, BCA points events. The BCA, Billiard Congress of America, is finally starting to, quote, flex their muscles just a little bit on some things behind the scenes. And I think you're going to see some changes, and I support them 100% because I endorse. The only thing that makes sense to me is the BCA points for the WPA hierarchy and everything. And you can't have two things going on. You can't measure it two ways. So we'll see. You know?
Well, if nothing else, I mean, one thing that I'm curious to see that affects all this, and it could be a big wrinkle. You know, bonus ball is the first thing that's getting a lot of players under one roof. I still get the feeling they're kind of a rudderless ship. Just kind of,
I agree. They need some direction.
You know, and I think they're doing the best they can, and they're making strides. You know, they're like I said, they're doing the best they can, and I think the product they put out when it's ready will be good. I mean, I think it'll.
I think it's going to be awesome.
I think it'll look good. I mean, technically, I'm talking about. Personally, I don't care for the game. So once again, I'm not necessarily their audience. They've actually stated that they're not really concerned too much with traditional pool fans. They want to sell to non-pool fans.
They want to sell the team concept, the rah rah rah.
Yeah, I understand.
And
I mean, I know exactly what they're going after, and it pitches well, and everything sounds good. It just runs contrary to everything my experience in and around this game has shown me. That doesn't mean that I'm right and they're wrong. You know, they're putting their money up. Good luck to them. They take a shot. I mean, if they're successful, it helps everyone, as long as they don't hurt people along the way. But having that entity, it's the first thing we've seen. And I've always said all along, I think for the game to go forward, it will either take the pros absolutely knuckling up and doing all the work themselves to build the game, all by themselves, which will never happen. Similar to the way skateboarding was built in the 70s and 80s.
There was some other industry did the same thing.
I mean, you look at NASCAR for a lot of it.
Well, even the golfers and the rodeo players.
Yeah.
The National Federation, what do they call those guys? NFRs.
But a lot of that stuff, that's not going to happen. So the only other way to have any structure is for someone to come in and basically what the professional bowling, those guys did who bought the PBA, which I think they eventually went broke or got out or something. But basically just have someone come in with enough money to say, okay, here it is. You get to play for this money. In return for this, you know, get in line. Everybody pull in the same direction. Yeah. But so far, bonus, you know, IPT did it, but the model was super flawed.
Well, I'm going to tell you, bonus ball has got, if there's 10 ingredients, they have 6 of them.
Yeah.
But the other 4 are awful important. We had some serious debates about this.
You know what? If they were just playing 8-ball on a bar table.
Well, there's one of them. I mean, we had this discussion when that group,
you know what? If they just stopped. And instead of an 8-ball, put a purple ball in there with a big bonus sign on it and said, we're going to play bonus ball. And it's just like 8-ball, but instead of making the 8-ball, you make the bonus ball. You know, I think their chances for success would
double.
Quadruple.
Yeah, it's just, that's what I mean. Because, number one, the team concept is great, but this really isn't a team. They're trying to sell a team. And I'll give them all my trade secrets. You don't want a team in Atlanta. You want a team in
Des Moines, Iowa,
right? Where there's no other teams, where you and get some identification factor, like mini minor league baseball.
You're trying to build a minor league sport,
but you can't build it in the major markets. There's too much going on. You can't get anybody's attention. Yeah. But now it takes a little bit of a different approach. So that's another reason why I kind of like Jim Murnak's thing, because his model can work in smaller markets as long as you can drive somewhere. You got to have enough to have 6 teams within a 5-mile range.
Murnak's thing, what he's trying to do with regional players. If I was Johnny Archer, you know what I'd do? I'd grab my little crew of about 8 guys, and I'd go out and I'd get a big truck, or I'd get a
We've
Daniel
talked about
Bush,
this. Yep.
or I'd get somebody else.
Go on the road.
And I'd say, look, here's what we're going to do, boys. We're going to have a 15 stop tour.
Yep.
the ABP tour, whatever you want to call it. And here's how it works. We're going to do it in pool rooms. We're going to roll in there. We're going to promote. We're going to be out. Everybody's got to push to be a part of this. And
cut up the money at the end of the day.
Nobody, if we get sponsors, we get sponsors. But if we go into Atlanta and we draw $1,500 on the gate, and we do $3,000 on the stream and split it with whoever our provider is, we get $1,500. Guess what? Our prize fund is $3,000. You kill what you eat.
Yep.
And then you know what would happen after the first year of that? They would have people flock into them to help them. Yep. It would only take a year.
Well, we've discussed a lot of things, and that's what our concept was one time, to do a tour. And it was, with what we know and what the things we have in our tools, because I wouldn't do them in pool rooms. We could do it in one truck, one small truck. But see, the model of bringing in 16 tables and 64 players it just does not work.
No, 8 guys is a good.
So if you want the master plan, you send a self-addressed postage stamped envelope and we'll mail it to you.
It's not hard. It's not hard and it's not unique. It's been done in many other industries. Yeah. The problem is it's a lot of goddamn work.
Well, and the best players today are not willing to put up the work, right? Or they're not able to or not willing to, and I don't blame them. But it would be, yeah. I mean, it's brutal. They have to see the future. Right. See, the problem is a lot of the guys today, they've been the future. I mean, they were the future in the past.
Well, it was better when they were younger than it is when they're older.
Oh, sure it is.
Yeah.
You know, the prize fund for these tournaments was the same 25 years ago, and the dollar went like a lot further.
Yeah.
So anyhow, but there's so many options here, and that's the beauty of the American way. You want to try it. You know. But I'm not in for the underhanded and unethical, and there's still a few of those guys. And when they're gone, then we'll get back involved.
Somehow we always turn this into this same conversation.
No? Well, yeah, I didn't want to do that either. So
sorry, guys.
Well, no,
next time he does it, I'm going to make.
You don't blame it on me.
Maybe
you're the one that brought up the
ABP.
But we gave there's some good constructive criticism, and we're not saying something that nobody else has said. So,
what else you got?
Well, we don't even have to go. I'm done. There was a couple people asked some questions on the thread. Some of them were asking about Jim Murdoch. We talked about that. How many podcasts should we do? And the consensus was 2 a month or every other week. Yeah. And I would like
We're
to
going to have one next week.
I would like to get into a schedule. Yeah, we always have one before the event, but I would like to try to get one every 2 weeks. And like Justin alluded to, that there's been a lot of conflicting events going on. And then the Christmas holidays, it was beyond a monkey wrench in our schedule. Yeah. They threw a Mack truck in the middle of our schedule.
But hopefully now we've got, plus we're going to have guys on this side of the country in February and into March.
We could do, the opportunity is here see if we can scratch our heads and put something together that's good for everybody.
We're supposed to have a conference call tomorrow for this video on demand site. If we can pull the trigger and get it started, I mean, I would love to be able to get something up in the next 2 months.
Yeah, that's optimistic, but we'll see.
Well, you got to be optimistic. If you're not, what do you got?
Well, you got to be realistic. So.
Yeah, well, I'm not realistic.
I didn't say that. You don't take things personally. I have to knock the crap out of you.
Yeah. Well, when a guy tells me X, Y, Z, I can do this, I can do that.
I understand.
And he's already done it. We'll see.
You bet. Anyhow, the main thing, our focus is.
Haven't you been trying to get a website up for 2.5 years?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah? How's that working out for you?
So we're making. We had to talk to some people today. I mean, we got this design and this design. This works and this works. You put them together, they don't work. And everybody's saying, "Wow."
You know what's going to happen,
wow,
right?
It should work.
You know what's going to happen, right?
I'm going to blow something up.
You're going to scrap it all and start over.
Oh, I can't do that. No,
what'll happen. Guaranteed.
This web stuff. Everybody says this technology is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I tell you what, give me unsliced bread then. But anyhow, TAR 30. Shane Van Boning and Darren Appleton.
Yep. And once again, we want to.
With a shot clock.
Yep, 40-second shot clock.
And Mr. Bill Stock, the world-renowned Mr. Bill Stock, will be here.
Please support our sponsors, OBQs, Kamui, Kurzweil Meats, and CSI. We will be doing a giveaway on AZ Billiards starting Monday. We'll be giving away some pay-per-views, and I'm going to work up some kind of prize. I don't know what it's going to be. I was considering maybe, I don't know, like maybe an autograph poster of Shane and Daz with the cue ball from the match, or something like that, for whoever picks the exact score.
I know what you could give away.
We'll figure out something. What?
You'll just laugh. But we're changing the cloth on the table, and if somebody wants the cloth that came off the table, you know, a lot of champions have played on that.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you could, you know, maybe we could even get them to, as they come by, sign it or something like that. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? You know.
Actually, that might be something cool to keep for people to sign.
We could take a piece of that cloth, put it on the wall, and that would be kind. We could track. You know, that's actually that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, we're not going to give that away. We're going to maybe later when we get
we'll give half of it away, the bottom half.
But no, that actually is a really good idea. Yeah. That's cool.
That's how these brainstorms come together. We just sit and oh well.
Every once in a while, you get a good one.
Well, thank you, sir. So the main thrust is the TAR 30. After this is over, then the next couple of weeks we'll be talking about you know, the upcoming events. By the time we have our after our, you know, we'll have the Derby City we can discuss. We can have the upcoming events, and there's just a lot going on, but there's no cohesiveness to it. But I think when we see where bonus ball and get the players,
you gotta
in there,
stop with all these negative waves.
This isn't negative.
Man.
This is not negative.
Stop with all these
that's
negative
not negative.
waves. You gotta say something
positive.
righteous and hopeful.
Well, it's positive. With bonus ball is going to bring a lot of players into this town. We should be able to make something happen.
Mm-hmm.
Even you should be able to make something happen.
Yep.
You know? I don't have too much more to say. I'm glad we're back here.
Don't believe it.
Oh, wait a minute. I do have one more thing. Look.
TAR at Super Billiards Expo. Nope, man, I'm not going anywhere. Honestly, I'm broke. So, can't go to the Derby, can't go to Super Billiards Expo.
Blue rail cloth. We happen to have about 15 sets of 9-foot, 20 sets of 9-foot, and 15 sets of 7-foot if somebody needs some 860 tournament blue rail cloth. Most of it's HR. Just contact Justin or contact me.
Don't contact me.
Okay, contact
Call
me.
the CSI
We'll make some good
office.
prices. It's excess.
You gonna put that in the table mechanic forum?
Yeah, I'll put a post on it. We had all this cloth, we cut it up, and tournament blue is very consistent between dye lots. So you don't have to be too concerned about different dye lots and everything. Retail, this is for a 9-footer is about $45. You can have it for $20, $25 depending upon how many you buy. Brand spanking new. It's not even used. But I'm looking forward to a lot of things. I'm you know, it's a new year. It's time to get, you know, excited.
Yeah, it'll be. You know, the only thing I'm concerned with is this on-demand site, because honestly, the video on-demand site will determine if TAR lives or dies.
Yep.
If it doesn't go, then we're done. But if it does, then we got a shot. So we'll see.
Well, yes and no. See, you're a little gloom and doom on that. See,
I'm not gloom and doom.
Well,
that's what you say.
No, I think. See, and I think the fact that we're going to have 36 of the world's best players a mile from here, we're supposed to be able to come.
Well,
up
it's not
with something.
30. It's not 36 of the world's best players.
Okay, well, it sounded
it's
good.
4 guys that we could use.
Okay, it sounded good. Just let me pump bonus ball. Just shut up and let me pump them up a little bit. But we're going to have some good players here, and there's some things that could happen because one of the it's the business sense. By the time we fly 2 players here from Timbuktu and put up their whole, $2-3 grand just disappears. If they're already here, makes it better for everybody. On the other side of the coin, there's just going to be a lot of pay-per-views, and pretty soon people says, I ain't paying another pay-per-view. So there's a lot of conflicts, but that's not bad. It just gives us an opportunity to figure something out. See, I'm very optimistic.
Yeah.
Isn't that wonderful?
But, you know, we'll see. The main thing right now is next Friday, TAR 30 with Shane and Daz. It's going to be it's just such an interesting match. So we hope you join us. And like I said, you know, we hope you support our sponsors. Call Kurzweil and order you up some brats and maybe cook them up and watch the match next week. OB is going to be launching some new stuff, some exciting new stuff at Super Billiards Expo this year.
They've really come into their own.
Kamui will be at Super Billiards Expo coming up, you know, and that's right around the corner. So, you know, just we appreciate, you know, if you're at Super Billiards Expo and you see the OB guys or you see the Kamui guys, you know, and you like TAR and you like seeing these matches, you know, we appreciate, you know, all you guys do for us. just let them know that you appreciate that. Just tell them, hey, I saw you on sponsor for TAR. I think that's cool because that means a lot. It means that it shows the sponsors that people are paying attention to who is supporting these things, and it's a big deal, man. It's a real big deal.
It is. Last year I was out there, I had probably 10 people that I had no idea who they were saying, "Hey, Mark, I really appreciate it." Because I said, "How they?" Oh, because they get to see me.
Yeah.
But it makes a huge difference because, this isn't a huge industry. Small people can make a lot of difference. It's great. So.
Yeah, somebody said. Melling is on a bonus ball team. If Melling's here, we'll definitely get Melling involved.
I want to see Melling play somebody. He's a monster.
Yeah.
And they
definitely get Melling involved.
Yeah. And
I want to see Melling play one of our matches. I think
like a longer match, 25.
Yeah. I want to see because he's proven he's proven himself a killer.
Yeah.
Under pressure at the Moscone Cup. So. And
this China thing, he did quite well. He came in second. And when he was getting run over, and he finally saw daylight, and he just come back and like a run a 2-pack on it. I mean, he's got a heart. Yeah.
And
he sure does.
Him and Daz, and Boise have really stepped up, and they've put the UK on the map, and it's good to see. But I would definitely like to get Chris in a match. That would be an interesting thing. I don't
know who he plays.
Hatch. Some attitude there.
Yeah, Hatch. He can play, but he doesn't stay. He doesn't give him a chance. He's like Alex. He doesn't give himself a chance. He doesn't play. He'll go into retirement, so to speak. And you can't hit that high level without constantly being playing.
Well, I think Hatch is playing bonus ball, right?
I don't believe so.
Is Hatch playing bonus ball? I think he is.
He might be. He might be.
But he's playing with Johnny Archer.
He hasn't been that active in pool,
isn't he? Somebody help.
By the way, the roster of the bonus ball, or excuse me, the roster of Turning Stone is on.
Board driver said he is. I thought so. I think he's on Johnny's team.
Speaking of which, how do you like those pictures of those teams? They look. I mean, because you mentioned, the pictures of the players. They look like pasty white, and it's just a little.
Well, the graphic stuff's pretty cool. Right. I mean, it's Nathan did a good job. He shot the pictures on green screen and then put them on the backgrounds and. Tried to make it look like, regular professional sports stuff. Technically, it looks great.
I didn't like the 3-man team pictures. They just looked so non-realistic.
Because those are, a lot of that comes from, taking photographs and shit like that is hard, man. It's, it's not natural to a lot of people. You put a guy in front of a light and you say,
smile,
do something. You can't be there all day, so you take the best of what you got, and then you take all, and the other thing is, they didn't shoot those photos. I would bet money they didn't shoot those photos together. Those photos are cropped, so you get one guy going, one guy going, ooh, it looks a little weird.
I agree.
But
I do expect to see some tremendous graphics and stuff out of Nathan. I mean, because they've told me some of the things they're going to do, and it's just going to be just awesome. But it's just,
the only thing I'm curious about is how the live will be. I mean, Nathan's a whiz at the post stuff. He's always been great at that. I don't know how much of any experience he's got doing live stuff. That's kind of a whole nother world. But he's got a good team with Lenny and
they're doing everything live, I think.
So
it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen. We'll have a podcast next Thursday. And we'll have the players, and the next day they'll be shooting it out.
And this weekend, everybody go check out the AZ Billiards
Turning Stone thread
and AccuStats stream. They'll be running all weekend, and it's always a great tournament. So, and it's free. So,
yes, sir.
And we'd like to thank Jerry and Pat, Mike, everybody over there for working with us on promoting TAR 30. We thank you very much.
Yeah, and Clary, again, thanks for making the, what do you call it, a spot?
Just
a little ad. It's pretty cool, but he can make some pretty cool stuff. But it's and if you guys get a chance to watch it, please do. It's showing on the streaming thread from Turning Stone.
And next Thursday, look for Shane for sure. Try to get Daz here. Try to get them both here. Now that Daz is back in Vegas, I'll be able to get in touch with him this weekend. But Shane gets in Monday, So wouldn't surprise me if we do something before Thursday, even if it's turn on a camera and watch them hit balls or maybe shoot the shit a little bit.
Yeah. Sure.
If that happens, then I'll just post it on Facebook and AZ.
Okay.
But other than that, just next Friday, tune in. And like I said, keep an eye on Facebook and AZ for any impromptu things that pop up during the week, because both guys will be in and out of here all week. And we also podcast Thursday, Shane for sure, hopefully Shane and Daz. And then Friday, 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern, TAR 30 starts.
Yep. Now, what's it going to last? About 3 hours, maybe?
4 to 4.5 is my guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wouldn't think it would go that long, but you never know. It has.
3's fast.
Three
For
would
25,
be fast. I'm
4 hours is always my over-under on
Yeah.
a race to 25.
Yeah.
I figure a race to 11 is 2 hours, give or take.
Yeah.
So you're doubling that.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, appreciate everybody coming in. And if it's not real, it's Memorex or whatever it is. They can watch us tomorrow or the next day.
Actually, you know what? That's a great idea Board Driver just had. Maybe I'll get Shane together. That's a great idea, man. That's a fantastic idea. I'll get Shane in here like on Tuesday or Wednesday, and we'll just sit down and tell some nasty stories and get him to talk about.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, get him to talk about Chad. And,
yeah, because that. I mean, they
Yeah.
were tight.
Yeah.
They really were tight.
Yeah, so
And that's-
between the two of us, we could probably come up with some pretty entertaining stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a great idea, man. I'm going to do that.
Okay.
I'll definitely do that. And when I do it, I'll make sure it's,
Post it up.
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Great idea.
All right. I know it was a little rambly. That's because I'm me, but we're out of stroke. We haven't been doing these enough.
Yeah.
Next week.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
Say goodnight, Mark.
I'm done. Good night, y'all. Thank you very much. Good night, Justin.
Thanks, guys.
And watch Turning Stone.